Age was the beginning of comics, and in many situations there are well-known artists and writers who helped to establish comic books as an artistic and literature medium. But at the same time, that period of comic book history had lesser-known talents and even eccentric ones. One of them being Fletcher Hanks, and his creations Stardust the Super Wizard and Phantoma the Jungle Woman under the pseudonym Barclay Flagg. With an interesting bit of information, Phantoma was one of the first heroines predating Wonder Woman. In the Golden Age, heroes and heroines often did outlandish things as part of the story, but Fletcher Hanks often stood out as odd. Keep in mind that children were the intended targets of these stories. Some examples can even make an adult pause and wonder what they just read. Here's an example of Stardust dispatching of a villain. The comic panels speak for themselves. A few moments will be given to you to read the panels and gather a basic understanding of the story. Fletcher Hanks was only in the golden age of American comic books for a few years, 1939 through 1941. His reasons for leaving the industry are unknown. What little information about him is known is mostly from one of his children. His background, from what little is known, is even more bizarre than the stories he made. An alcoholic for most of his life, he never got along well with his family, even disappearing for periods of time, with no one knowing where he went, what he did, or even caring about his disappearance. Will Eisner had some contact with him and remarked about his artistic skill, speaking that it was similar to Basil Wolverton's, and also commenting that Fletcher was much older than the other Golden Age comic book writers or artists at the time. Fletcher being born in 1887, and most of the comic book greats being born in the early 20th century. For example, Eisner himself was born in 1917. Jack Kirby was also born in 1917. Stan Lee in 1922, Gardner Fox in 1911, C.C. Beck in 1910, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster both in 1914. Fletcher Hanks was found dead in 1976 on a park bench in New York City. With no money to his name, it's assumed that he was drunk and froze to death during the night.